Hello and welcome everybody in the world. How are you doing today? Let's see who's online. Today we're going to continue the series of common English mistakes. And this is lesson number 7. So whenever there is someone going to participate in this session, the first one who's going to correct the sentence, his name or her name will be said out loud to the universe, to 32,000 students around the world. Alright, so I'm going to put a sentence on the screen and let's see who's going to correct it, and then we'll tell why we choose this answer. Okay? So let me type the sentence on the screen first. Very well. Alright, hold on. Just 1 second. I'm going to type a sentence on the screen and you're going to correct it. You'll have 10 seconds to answer, and then I'll put the answer on the screen. Although it was late, but she went out. This sentence has a grammar English mistakes. So, in your opinion, what it would be? I'm going just to extend it. Okay. So this sentence is wrong. What would be the right correct answer? I'll give you let's say how much time do you need to answer this? It's pretty easy. I don't think it takes time to answer, but I'll give you some seconds. Right? Let's see who's online with us. Share the video to your friends so they would participate with us and know something new today in English. So share this video to your profile, to your friends, to your page, and let us work together on improving your English. This sentence has a grammar mistake, and all you need to do is to say the correction in a comment down the video. I'm waiting your answers. Well, I like both American and British accents, so sometimes I speak British and sometimes I speak American. Sometimes it's easier to use British accent, just slightly easier than British American. If you feel like you're drowsy or you don't know what to say or feel asleep a little bit, so it's better to use the British accent to slightly talk easily. But in New York they both use the both accents, so in some words, especially the R sound, is pronounced like British accent, but it's still. So let us see who's the right person who's going to answer this question. Who's clever, that would find it easier to answer this question. We have here Abdullah Ali Aday. Welcome, Abdullah. I see your comments, so participate. What is the right correct answer of the sentence which is on the screen? I'm going to wait for a few seconds and then I'll show the answer and tell you why. So think about the answer and tell me what it would be. You have a few seconds. Alright, here we go. Ghazi Jordan from Jordan says no need to use but, so the wrong answer is but. Alright, that is correct, Ghazi. Thank you. Okay, I'll tell you more additional information on although, so that would you would take it as a notice. Although or though, what is the difference between both? So does anybody here know English? Can tell us what is the difference between although or though? Where are the English teachers on this page? We have some, I think. We have a lot of students from the US and the UK. You can participate if you have time. Right, so if there's anybody who knows English very well, can tell us the difference between though and although, I'll be really glad to hear from you. So what do you think? We have also Yusuf bin Hamid, Yasser, Emmanuel Lubs, and Abdullah Ali is still there, but no one is typing comments down the video. Just Ghazi from Jordan, the clever boy. Think about it. What is the difference? I'm going to tell you just right now. Alright? Alright. Here we go. Shall I tell the difference? You have 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and okay. Although and though both mean in spite of something. They are subordinating conjunctions. Subordinating conjunctions meaning this means that the clause which they introduce is a subordinate clause, meaning that there must be a main clause to complete it. So there won't be a meaning for your sentence or uncompleted sentence if it only has although or though. So if I told you though it was rainy, for example, let me put it on the screen. Okay, and comma. then you use comma. Though it was raining, comma. The question is this a complete sentence? Though it was raining. So I'm asking a question here. Is it a complete sentence or clause? It is not. We call it subordinate clause. This is called subordinate. Okay, subordinate clause. Why we call it subordinate clause? Because there must be another sentence right there to complete the meaning of this clause. Yes, what happened? Alright, it was raining, and what? What happened after that? So I would continue, say, we put our jackets and we went for a walk. So now I understand, though it was raining, we put on our jackets and we went out for a walk. So the complete sentence here, or clause, would be this. I'm going to put it on the screen. Okay, but you need, okay, like that. Okay. I just, the screen is not big, so, you know, we should put this here. Should put this here. So the complete sentence would be, we put on our jackets, okay, and we went for a walk. That now we know how to complete the meaning of though. Though it was raining is subordinate clause, and then we put comma. You must put comma there, and then continue the meaning. In spoken English, though is more common than although in general, and it is much more common than although in speaking. For emphasis, we often use even with though, but not with although. So let me put on this on the screen. This is a new lesson, even for teachers, if you like to add it to your information. Okay. We often use even with though, but not with although. And warning, when though or although clause comes before the main clause, we usually put a comma at the end of the clause, as I showed you. When the main clause comes first, we don't need to use a comma. Okay? And this is tip. Okay, let me put it on the screen. And I'll give you an example. When the main clause comes first, we don't need to use a comma. Here we have two sentences, two clauses, as you can see. Subordinate clause and main clause. So if this clause, the main clause, comes first at the beginning, then we don't put a comma when we use though. I'll give you another example. I still feel hungry even though I had a big lunch. Who does feel this? You know, I usually feel that. So do you feel it too? I still feel hungry even though I had a big lunch. So let us see who's going to say yes, that's me. Why wouldn't I see other members' comments, or just me there? Maybe it's time for them to sleep. You know, here in time zone is different. People in Spain or in Brazil could be here, but other areas, you know, different. Hi Noor, welcome. Noor from Iraq, we have it here. Have him here. Well, it is enough you commenting, Ghazi. It's really a pleasure to see you commenting. Some people just prefer to listen, which is not really good way. If you want to learn English, you must comment down the video to see if your answers are correct or not, and I'm going to correct your mistakes if you have ones. That's the way we learn English. Not just by listening or watching, but by practicing. And I made this page for this reason. So, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Nobody is going to laugh at you. We all make mistakes, but the point is, when you make mistakes, you must know the answer. You must know how to solve it. Alright? So next time when you speak, don't make the same mistakes twice. That's the point. Okay. In the last sessions we had Sarah Gamal. I think I'm not sure if she's still here or not. Maybe she's busy. Okay. Anyway, I'm explaining now. So if there's anything that people don't understand, you can ask me questions. This recording is live, so it will be posted on the videos section. So whenever you like to see this video again, you can go to video section and you will see this video. I still feel hungry even though I had a big lunch. So we don't put here comma, okay? Because the main sentence or the main clause here, the main clause comes at the beginning. Then when you put even though, you don't need to put comma. This is one of English common mistakes in written English. Oh yeah, I said that. Rogero Brazil is here following the class. Oh, thank you. I've talked to a lot of people from Brazil. Time there it could be like could be right now like 5 p.m. or something like that, around this time. So thank you for following this class. You could share this class to your friends so they can participate as well as you do. Okay, I still feel hungry even though I had a big lunch. Alright. Also we can use although or though with reduced clauses. What I mean by reduced clauses, that we don't put verbs in that clause. So let me put it on the screen. This lesson is very special because it contains information that both is used in written or in spoken English. Although and though with reduced clauses. In formal speaking or writing, we can use although or though or even though to introduce a clause without a verb. So a clause without a verb, we call it a reduced clause in English. Let me put it on the screen. So reduced clauses meaning a clause without a verb. Let's see example. Let's have an example. This is an example. It's a big example. The screen is not that big though. Oh gosh, that's too big. I don't know if you can see it. So we'll split it maybe. Okay, Remand, although very interested, didn't show any emotion when she invited him to go for a walk. Remand, although very interested, So here, as you can see, although very interested, there is no verb. Very interested. Interested is adjective. Interested here is adjective, and very is adverb. Very interested. So there is no verb here. So in this way we can use although or though without a verb, and we call it a clause. Remand, this is the name of a person. Remand, although very interested, didn't show any emotion when she invited him to go for a walk. Like he didn't like it, or he wasn't interested in walking. Also, if you can refer to a car, you would say, though more expensive, the new model is safer and more efficient. Let's take another example shorter than this one to see it more clearly on the screen. Okay. Referring to a car. This is easier example. Let me put it on the screen. Just as long as it's shorter, the better. The shorter, the better. To see clear on the screen. Okay, that's great. Though more expensive, referring to a car. Okay, referring to a car. Though more expensive, the new model is safer and more efficient. So though more expensive comes at the beginning, so we use comma. Okay, but if the main clause comes at the beginning, which is this one, we don't use a comma. So if you said the new model is safer and more efficient, though, even though more expensive, then we would use a comma. Also, although and though meaning but. When it meaning but, we don't use but instead. Okay. Meaning but. Although and though could also meaning but. And I'll tell you why. I'm Ala from Egypt. Welcome, Ala. Nice to see you. We are here going to explaining just tips in English, although and or though, and then we're going to continue our game, which is correct English mistakes. The first English mistake we just have corrected was about although and but. Although meaning but. Could you give me example? Put it on down the screen before I just give you an example. I want you to participate to see how much you understand. Share the video to your friends so they would participate in this session. Right? Interesting. Okay. When although or though clause comes after a main clause. Comes after a main clause. It can also mean but it is true. Also true that. So the meaning not only but also true that. Let me put it on the screen for you. Okay. Here we go. So it can also mean, but it is also true that. Let me just put it separately. Yeah, because I know people don't see this well, so okay. So it can also mean but it is also true that, and then you continue the sentence. Let's have an example. We didn't make any profit, though nobody knows why. We didn't make any profit, though nobody knows why. But nobody knows why. Alright? Let me put that on the screen. We didn't make any profit, though nobody knows why. In this case, though meaning but it is also true that nobody knows why. This is the meaning of though in this case. Okay, well, that's enough for though. Alright, let's continue our game. That was the last English sentence, which was wrong, and Gehazi says that we should remove but, and that is correct. Okay, let's have another example. You have better to see the doctor. You have better to see the doctor or the doctor. This sentence has wrong answer. It's wrong to say this. What is the correct right answer? I give you some few seconds to answer this in a comment below. So let's see, I give you some time to think and to answer, and then I'll put you the correct answer and I'll tell you why. Let us see the good people who answer questions. I know it's not hard, but let's try. We have a little Yasser Hamdi and Rogero, Manisha Roy, Mu'mina. We have great students right here. So, would you like to answer? This sentence is wrong. What would be the right, correct answer for this sentence? Type a comment down the video and tell me what could be wrong. Or if you don't know, share the video to your English teacher so he can participate in the session as well to help you out with it. Okay. Let us see. I can see your comments down there. Just a few seconds. Okay, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Oh, Allah Adel says it's better to see the doctor. Gezi says you have better see a doctor. Lubna says it's better to see a doctor. Well, it's better to see a doctor is correct, but there is another way to say it. You have better say the doctor. We don't use have in this case. It's like expression, and this expression says had. You had better see a doctor. You had better see the doctor. This is the right, correct answer. Remove have. Had here meaning advice, specific advice. Okay? Had better. We use had better to refer to the present or the future. It's expression. Okay? So it's not simple past or something like that. It's just expression. We use had better to use the present or the future, to refer to the present or the future. To talk about actions we think people should do or which are desirable in a specific situation. Okay? The verb form is always had, not have. We normally shorten it to apostrophe D in formal situations. And we don't use to. So it's 5 o'clock. I had better go now before the traffic gets too bad. Another example. This is correct, okay? Just don't worry about it. No, too. This is another example on, and this is correct, okay? It's 5 o'clock. I had better, okay? The apostrophe D could be meaning two things. Either would or had. So when you write English down on a piece of paper, don't use contractions. Okay? The same idea. It's could be it is, could be it is, it has. So don't confuse the teacher while correcting your English mistakes on a piece of paper. Say it is. It is 5 o'clock. I had. Go better now. And go is infinitive. It's expression. I had do something. I had better do something. Okay? So let me explain more on had. Had better. So had better. Does anybody here know anything about it? This expression, subject plus had better, verb infinitive. Can you use this had better? So I want you to say I want to see your comments down below the video. To use this expression, it is very useful. And we use had better to refer to the present or the future, or to talk about action we think people should do or which are desirable in a specific situation. You had better do this, not that. Okay? So I'm going to put this on the screen. I'll give you a few minutes to type down, okay, to type down sentences that have this expression. Alright? So let us see your sentences. So I'll give you time to think about it, how to use this expression. And just the information about had better is just in front of you on the screen. Let's see who's going to. You had better see a doctor. It's better to see a doctor. Okay, that was nothing. Okay, use a sentence. Type a sentence below the video. Let me put on the screen. Type a sentence. Okay, type a sentence using had better. down the video. You you have better explain this grammar more. Alright. You're asking me a question, or you want to understand more about it? It's just in front of you. We use had better to refer to the present or future, or to talk about actions we think people should do. It's like advice, giving piece of advice. Okay. Like either you could say you should do, or you had better do. The negative of had better is had better not. So another way you could say I had better not leave my bag there. Someone might steal it. Okay, let me clarify it for you more about it. Another example, just to clarify the meaning. It's like giving piece of advice, or like should. But this is just expression we use in conversation when we talk to each other. So I had better not leave my bag there, or someone might steal it. This is had. Okay? You had better not tell Elizabeth about the broken glass. She'll go crazy. If you want to ask a question, you just inverting the subject and had. So, had I better speak to John first before I send this form off? What do you think? Had we better leave a note for the delivery guy? Okay. We don't use had better when we talk about preferences. We use would rather or would prefer. Okay? Let me just clarify it more for you. The cases we don't use had better. Okay? So it's just special cases. We don't use had better when we talk about preferences. So we would use rather or would prefer. We would use would rather or would prefer if we're going to talk about preferences. Okay, let's say an example. I would better get a taxi. The buses are so slow. I had better get a taxi. I had better get a taxi. The buses are so slow. He's describing the buses that they are so slow. And I'll not just type the construction type had. Here we go. I had better get a taxi. The buses are so slow. This is okay. This is correct. But when you talk about preferences, okay, I prefer. You say, I prefer to get a taxi. Okay? It's different. We don't say, I had better. Prefer. We say, I prefer. To talk about preferences. You prefer to do something. You prefer to do something. So it's different. So we don't use had better to talk about preferences. This is correct. We don't use had better in this case. Okay? Also, we don't use had better to talk about preferences. Instead, we use would rather or would prefer. We don't use had better to make ordinary suggestions or recommendations. This is also another way we don't use had better. Okay. Here we go. We don't use had better to make ordinary suggestions or recommendations. Like for example, you don't say you had better take a boat trip across the bay and see some of the islands. Then you had better find a nice restaurant or for lunch. So in this case, you're talking about suggestions and recommendations. No, so in this case, we don't use had better. Just to give a piece of advice, not to suggest or recommend something. And instead, we use I recommend. Auckland is a great place to visit. I would recommend you to take a boat trip across the bay and see some of the islands. Then you can find a nice restaurant for lunch. There are plenty of them. Okay? Auckland is a great place to visit. I would recommend you to take a boat across the bay. Okay. For example. Across the bay. Does anybody here know what bay means? Bay. I'm gonna show you what bay means. Something beautiful. I recommend you to visit. Alright, let me show it to you. So what bay means? Bay. Think about it. Imagine you see it. Until I give you a picture, just right there. Here we go. So bay means this. This is bay. As you can see, this is bay. Bay. Nice. Wonderful. Okay. Like these. Okay, so this is how to use had better. We use this formula, the subject, which could be I, we, you, they, or he and she and it. And then we use the expression had better, and then we put the verb infinitive, meaning there's no any addition to the verb. You had better go to the dentist. You had better take the bus or you'll never go to work on time. You had better call your girlfriend right now or you'll lose her forever. So it's just like that. Okay? But we don't use had better in recommendations or suggestions. So it's 5 o'clock. I had better go now before the traffic gets too bad. Okay. Nice listen, nice new information. Thank you all for participating in this session. We are about to finish. Do you like to have another question on the screen? Gezi says, so it's different from had to? I mean had better to. Grammar is different from... Yes, exactly. had better to, it's different than have to or had to or must. We don't use it as if we say have to or had to or must. It's just expression. He had better study hard. Okay. There must be like a result. He had better study hard, or what happened? He will lose. He will lose. When will you make a live again? Well, I don't really have a specific time allowed. It just depends on my free time. But if I'm going to make live sessions, I put a comment on the chat or on the page, says the live English class is going to start just in a few minutes or something like that. So anybody is following the page all the time will know exactly that there is a live class. I usually make the live classes in the evening before 12 o'clock. PM, of course. All of the videos or the sessions I have made till now, they are recorded and they are in the video section. They had been recorded and they are now in the video section. So you can go there and see all the videos I have made over time. Let us put one last thing on the screen. Let's see who's going to answer it. I'll say your name out loud to the universe. It's easy. It can rain this evening. Let me put it on the screen. It can rain this evening. This sentence is wrong. What possibly could be the right answer? So let's say, who's here from Morocco or Spain or we have now students from Egypt, Jordan, Brazil. Everybody here who's from different country, please type your country down in the video. Let us see where you're from. So we use had in the present and future. No, Allah, we use had better, the expression, not had itself. We use had better together as one expression. Okay? Not had by itself. Had by itself is the simple past of have or has. So we don't use it this way. We use it in expression had better, and we have just explained why. I have to see the doctor tomorrow, or I had to see the doctor tomorrow. You could say I had better see the doctor tomorrow, not had to. I say the verb infinitive, and also we don't put to. Okay, I had better, then the verb. There is no to in the expression. The expression is had better do something. I have to see the doctor is correct, and it meaning obligation. You have to, you have no other choice. But I had better see the doctor tomorrow you're giving advice to yourself. Okay, giving a piece of advice to yourself, but it's not obligation, like must or have to. جاهزة. So is this clear? I know it's pretty could be confusing sometimes. Okay, we have one last question on the screen. Who is going to correct it? It can rain this evening. What is the possible right answer for it? Gezi, we don't use had by its own. We use had better. We use had better. This is the formula. We don't use had without better. This is another meaning. Just had with better. Expression. Okay? To give yourself a piece of advice. Giving. Like should someone a piece of advice. Okay. It will rain this. It can be rain this evening. No, we cannot use can. Lazy. It will rain this evening. Allah Adil says it will rain. Okay, you better use may or might or could. Alright, so in this case you would say it may rain, or it might rain, or it could rain this evening. Just possibility. You're not sure it's going to rain. So if you're sure, you say it is going to rain. If you're not sure, you could say it may rain this evening, or it might instead of can. May, or might. Most common use. May or might. Or could. Okay? And if you're sure, you say it is going to rain this evening. It will rain, okay, no problem, is also correct. As a possibility. It will rain. But you're not sure, still not sure. But you better use a may or might, or could. Thank you guys for participating in this session. We always make sessions all the time. There's no specific time really, but I'm trying to manage. Thank you for participating, and share this video to your friends so they can learn more about English. Thank you, and see you soon. Bye bye.